As you get older, if you do these 12 things every day that we are about to share, you will be the happiest women in the world. Why does one 75-year-old dance like a young woman while another 65-year-old sits and laments her fate? Why is one 80-year-old still learning piano while another 70-year-old is just waiting to die? Have you ever wondered what secret makes some women over 70 radiant as the sun while others wither like autumn leaves? Today, I will completely shatter the notion that old age is suffering. The truth is, turning 70 isn't a death sentence for happiness. On the contrary, it can be the freest and most radiant period of your life if you know the secret. In the next 20 minutes, I will reveal 12 secrets that the happiest women over 70 practice every day. Not expensive medications, not cosmetic surgery, just simple habits that have the power to completely change the last 20 years of your life. Let me share a little secret with you. Turning 70 doesn't mean life gets smaller. In fact, if you do it right, it will become richer than ever. Today, I will show you how the happiest women over 70 are truly more joyful, free, and at peace thanks to 12 things they do every day. You know, last week I met Margaret, 74 years old, silver hair but eyes as bright as a young girl's. She told me, 15 years ago, I had a fight with my sister over an inheritance. I held on to that anger like a heavy stone in my heart. Every morning, the first thing I thought about was that anger. Until one day I realized I was the most miserable one in this story. And that is the first secret. They practice forgiveness every day. Margaret started a simple habit. Every morning, she silently says, "I forgive you, and I forgive them." It doesn't change the past, she said, but it changes how I carry that past. My heart is lighter, I sleep better, and most importantly, I have space to love other things. Psychologists at Stanford University have studied and found that practicing forgiveness not only brings psychological release, but also has astonishing physical effects. People who regularly forgive have lower blood pressure, less stress, and even stronger immune systems. Margaret added, "At first, I pretended. I'd say I forgive, but my heart was still angry. But strangely, after a few months, the feeling of anger actually faded. It was as if my mind had learned to let go." She also noticed other changes: deeper sleep, fewer headaches, and improved relationships with others. "My children and grandchildren say I'm more pleasant, less grumpy. They like visiting me more." Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or accepting wrong behavior. It's about freeing yourself from the shackles of the past. And when we do that, we create space for better things. Sounds good, right? But here's the interesting part. When Margaret freed her heart from the burden of forgiveness, she discovered something more beautiful waiting inside. Second secret, they nurture their souls. "When I no longer spent all my energy on being angry," Margaret shared, "I started to explore what truly made me happy. I began reading spiritual books, meditating for 15 minutes every morning, and keeping a gratitude journal." Helen, 72 years old, Margaret's friend, had a similar story. "Every morning I sit quietly with a cup of tea, looking out at my small garden. That's the moment I connect with myself and with something bigger than myself. I feel a strange sense of peace." Research from Harvard Medical Center shows that people who dedicate time to spiritual activities, whether it's prayer, meditation, or simply contemplating in nature, have significantly lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. Helen added, I used to be always busy, always having to do something. Sitting still for 15 minutes was torture for me. But now, it's the moment I cherish most in my day. She also started attending a meditation group at the community center, where she met like-minded people. We don't talk about illnesses or grandchildren. We talk about hope, about meaning, about things that make the soul radiant. Nurturing the soul doesn't necessarily have to be religious. It can be listening to classical music, painting, writing poetry, or simply sitting quietly and feeling your breath. The important thing is to create moments of connection with something larger than everyday worries. Science has proven that people with a strong sense of purpose in life tend to be more resilient to stress and live healthier lives. But you know what happens when the soul is nurtured? Joy naturally begins to shine. And that's when the third secret, they laugh with purpose, becomes important. Dorothy, 76 years old, chuckled as she told me, "Every afternoon I watch funny videos on YouTube. My grandchildren laugh. What are you watching, Grandma?" I say, "Grandma's taking her medicine." And it's true, those 5 minutes of laughter change my whole evening. Science has proven that laughter is one of the most powerful natural medicines. When we laugh, the brain releases endorphins, natural happiness hormones. It also reduces cortisol, the stress hormone that can harm the immune system. Dorothy shared, "I have a private YouTube playlist with 50 funny videos. There are videos of old ladies dancing, funny animal clips, and old stand-up comedy routines. Whenever I feel sad, I open it up and laugh for 10 to 15 minutes." She also talked about the contagious effect of laughter. When I laugh more, I become more cheerful with everyone. The cashier at the supermarket says, "Mrs. Dorothy always makes me happy." My grandson likes to visit me more because I always tell funny stories. Research from Loma Linda University shows that even just anticipating laughter increases positive hormones in the body. Dorothy even joined a local laughter yoga club. We practice laughing for no reason at all. It sounds silly, but after each session, I feel reborn. Laughter is not only good for mental health but also for physical health. It boosts the immune system, reduces pain, and even helps burn calories. Now I want to pause for a moment and ask you, of these first 3 secrets, which one makes you think of yourself immediately? Are you holding on to something that needs forgiving? Do you ever take time to nurture your soul? And when was the last time you laughed out loud? Share with me in the comments. But the story doesn't end here. Dorothy told me this, after I started laughing more, I realized my body wanted to laugh too. I wanted to move, to be more joyful. That is the 4th secret, they move their bodies every day. Ruth, 71 years old, explained, "I don't run marathons or lift heavy weights. But every morning when I wake up, I tell my body, hey, you've carried me for 71 years. Today, let's move a little together again." I stretch, swing my arms, walk around the neighborhood. And you know what? I always feel better afterwards. Ruth talked about her journey. At 65, I thought I would sit in an armchair and watch TV for the rest of my life. Aching joints, sore back, always feeling tired. But the doctor said, "Ruth, you're not old. You're just not moving." At first, I protested, "Doctor, I'm 65, what kind of exercise can I do?" But he persisted, "Start with 5 minutes a day." Research from the National Institute of Medicine shows that regular exercise in older adults not only improves physical health but also enhances memory and reduces the risk of depression. Ruth added, "The first week, I just walked to the end of the street. The second week, around the block. After a month, I could walk for 30 minutes without getting tired." Currently, Ruth attends a yoga class for seniors and a walking group in the park. The amazing thing is, the more I move, the more I want to move. It's like my body has been awakened after years of slumber. She also noticed other changes: better sleep, better appetite, and a more cheerful spirit. "My children and grandchildren say I look years younger." Once my grandson asked, "Grandma, what medicine do you take to be so healthy?" I laughed, "Walking medicine, dear." Exercise doesn't need to be complicated. It can be gardening, gentle dancing, swimming, or even playing with grandchildren. Ruth laughed, "The more I move, the more I want to eat better." It's as if my body is saying, "Hey, if you want me to work well, then give me good food." And that's how we naturally arrive at the fifth secret: they eat mindfully. Mary, 73 years old, said, "I used to eat in a rush as if someone was chasing me, eating while watching TV, thinking about other things. Now I sit down, turn everything off, and really talk to my food." It sounds silly, but I thank every bite that is nourishing my body. Mary shared more details. "When I was raising young children, I always ate quickly to take care of the family. After retiring, that habit remained. I'd finish eating without remembering what I ate, sometimes even feeling hungry afterwards. One day, I read an article about mindful eating and decided to try it. She started with small changes. Before eating, I sit quietly for 30 seconds, look at the food, and give thanks. It sounds strange, but it helps me slow down. Research from Harvard University shows that mindful eating not only improves digestion but also helps maintain an ideal weight and reduce stress. Mary said, "I started to really taste each bite. To feel the sweetness of the carrots, the aroma of the herbs. Strangely, I got full faster and felt more satisfied." She also changed her shopping habits. Instead of buying processed foods, I choose fresh produce. Cooking has also become a form of meditation, chopping vegetables slowly, listening to the sizzle of the pan. Mary noticed that not only did her health improve, but her mood also got better. "When I take care of my body with good food, I feel more self-respect, more self-love." Mindful eating not only improves digestion but also helps us connect more deeply with our bodies. And when Mary started taking care of her body from the inside, she also wanted to take care of it from the outside. Every morning after breakfast, Mary continued, "I step out onto the porch, breathe in the fresh air, and feel grateful for a new day." That's when I realized the importance of sixth secret: they breathe fresh air every day. Barbara, 69 years old, Mary's neighbor, laughed, "We often sit on the porch together every morning. We don't say much, just listen to the birds sing, feel the breeze. Those 15 minutes are worth more than an hour of watching TV." Barbara talked about the changes since she started spending time outdoors. "I used to be like a mouse, cooped up indoors all day with air conditioning and TV. In summer, I was afraid of the heat. In winter, I was afraid of the cold. I always found reasons not to go out. But after her doctor told her about the importance of vitamin D and natural light, Barbara decided to change. I started by opening the windows wide every morning. Then I'd stand at the door and breathe for 5 minutes. Slowly, I dared to step out onto the porch. Scientific research shows that sunlight helps the body produce vitamin D, which is essential for strong bones and a stable mood. Natural light also regulates the biological clock, helping with better sleep. Barbara shared, after a month of going out regularly, I slept deeper, was less irritable. Even my skin looked healthier. Now, Barbara has a small garden with tomatoes and sunflowers. Tending to plants is wonderful therapy. I talk to them, feel the moist earth in my hands, smell the natural fragrances. She also joined an early morning walking group in the park. Not only do I get exercise, but I also meet new friends. We walk and talk, sharing life experiences. Barbara said, "Those mornings sitting with Mary, I realized something. We humans need connection. Not just with nature, but with each other. And that is the seventh secret. They connect with others every day." Emma, 78 years old, shared, "After my husband passed away, I was afraid I would be lonely. But I realized loneliness is a choice. Every morning I send a voice message to my old friend Martha in another state. Just a few minutes, sharing what made me happy, asking about her day. It's simple, but it makes both of us feel connected." Emma elaborated on her journey to overcome loneliness. "The first year after my husband died, I lived in a bubble. I only went out to buy groceries, then came home and locked the door. My children were busy, my friends had their own lives. I thought I would die of loneliness." The turning point came when Emma read an article about the health detriments of loneliness. Loneliness can kill, no different from smoking or obesity. That's when it hit me. Am I killing myself? Emma started with small steps. I greeted the cashier at the supermarket. Thanked the mailman. Smiled at my neighbors. Then she decided to reconnect with old friends. Martha and I knew each other 40 years ago, but lost touch after her husband transferred jobs. I found her phone number and called. We both cried with joy. Now, Emma not only keeps in touch with Martha but also participates in many social activities, a book club, an embroidery group, and volunteering at the hospital. I realized that when you need friends, be a friend to someone first. When you're lonely, find someone else who is lonely to connect with. Emma added, once Martha said, Emma, your voice sounds so happy. It was then I realized, when I connect with others, I also connect with myself. And that made me want to learn more about the world around me. 8th secret, they are always curious and learning. Grace, 72 years old, Emma's friend, laughed as she recounted, when Emma started sending voice messages, I didn't even know how to listen to them. My granddaughter had to teach me. Then I thought, well, I'm 72, what's there to learn anymore? But Emma kept encouraging me, Grace, our brains are like muscles, the more you use them, the stronger they get. So I learned YouTube, learned how to send photos, even learned watercolor painting online. Now I even teach other ladies in the neighborhood. Grace shared about her learning revolution. I used to think 65 was the end, just waiting to get old. But when I started learning new things, I felt alive again. She began by learning to use a smartphone. My son bought me an iPhone. I left it in the box for 6 months because I was scared. But when I saw Emma using hers to contact Martha, I was determined to learn. Neuroscience research shows that continuous learning helps the brain create new connections, slowing down cognitive aging. Grace said, "From YouTube, I learned to cook Italian dishes, watch travel videos of places I'd never been, and even learn basic Spanish." She also joined a computer class at the senior center. "At first, I was shy because I was afraid of being slow. But the teacher said, 'Ladies, don't compare yourselves to young people. Compare yourselves to who you were yesterday.'" Grace became particularly passionate about watercolor painting after watching online tutorials. "I hadn't held a paintbrush in 70 years. Now I can paint landscapes, flowers." My granddaughter praised, "Grandma, you paint better than me." I was so happy. Learning not only stimulates the brain but also brings a new sense of purpose. Every day I have something to look forward to, a new lesson, an interesting video, or a painting I'm about to finish. Grace shared, "The best thing about learning new things is that I no longer have time to complain. I used to talk about aches and pains, now I'm busy with more interesting things." And that's how we naturally arrive at the ninth secret: they limit complaining. Jean, 75 years old, confessed, "I used to be the queen of complaints, bad weather, sore knees, the world getting worse. Until my friend said, 'Jean, I remember how you used to talk about your garden with such bright eyes. Now all you talk about are sad things.' That's when it hit me. I had let my voice become a tool for complaining." Jean talked about the process of recognizing and changing this negative habit. "After my friend's remark, I started paying attention to what I was saying. It was horrifying. 80% of my words were complaints. Complaining about the weather, about my health, about my children, about the world." She decided to take on a 30-day no-complaining challenge. The first day, I had to bite my tongue constantly. Every time I wanted to complain, I asked myself, "Does this help me or the listener?" Psychological research shows that the brain has a tendency to focus on the negativity bias, but we can retrain it. Jean shared, "I started replacing every complaint with a word of thanks. Instead of 'It's so cold,' I'd say 'Thank goodness for warm clothes and hot tea.' It sounded strange, but it really worked." After a month, she noticed incredible changes. My mood brightened, other people enjoyed talking to me more, even my children called more often. Jean also applied the 3:1 rule. For every negative thing she had to say, she found 3 positive things to balance it. If I had to talk about my back pain, I'd also mention my good night's sleep, delicious breakfast, and a call from a friend. She realized that changing her way of speaking had changed her outlook on life. When I stopped looking for bad things to complain about, I started seeing the good things around me. Jean said, "When I complained less, I had more energy for other things. And the first thing I do every morning is, hey, we're 3/4 of the way through. I'm really curious, of the 9 secrets so far, which one do you feel you're doing well at? And which secret do you feel you need to improve on the most? Share with me, because your stories can inspire others who are reading." 10th secret, they start the day with a morning ritual. Rose, 74 years old, shared, "I never grab my phone as soon as I wake up anymore. Instead, I open the curtains, stretch my arms to the sky, and say, 'Thank you for a new day.' Sometimes I write down 3 things I want to do today. Some mornings I just sit quietly with a cup of tea and listen to the birds. It's simple, but it sets the tone for the whole day." Rose talked about her journey from chaotic mornings to peaceful ones. 5 years ago, every morning I woke up like a soldier going into battle. Grabbing my phone to check the news, all bad news, checking emails, worrying about this and that. I felt stressed before I even got out of bed. The turning point came when Rose read about the importance of a sacred morning routine. It's not about religion, just about dedicating time to yourself before giving your day to the outside world. Rose started with 5 simple minutes: waking up, sitting still, breathing deeply. At first, my mind was racing, thinking about chores, worrying about my children. But I persisted. Gradually, she added other elements, opening the curtains to let in natural light, stretching 10 times, writing 3 things she was grateful for, and setting 3 intentions for the day. Scientific research shows that how we start our day has a profound impact on our mood, productivity, and happiness throughout the day. Rose shared, after a month of doing this, I noticed a clear difference. I was calmer, less reactive to minor annoyances, and felt more in control of my life. Currently, Rose's morning ritual lasts 20 minutes. It's the most sacred time of my day. Just me, no one else, nothing else. Just pure presence. Rose said, "When I start the day consciously, I also want to dress consciously. Not for anyone else, but for myself." 11th secret, they dress with intention. Patricia, 71 years old, smiled, "Every Sunday I wear my prettiest pearl earrings, even if I'm just watching church online at home. My children ask, 'What are you doing, Mom?' I say, 'I'm respecting myself.' Clothes aren't just for covering the body, they carry energy. When I dress well, I feel better, stand taller, and feel more confident." Patricia recounted her wardrobe revolution. "After retiring, I got used to wearing loungewear all day. Old t-shirts, baggy pants. I thought, I'm not going anywhere, why dress up? But gradually I realized I was becoming baggy too, mentally and physically." The turning point came when Patricia saw herself in the mirror. "I saw a woman who no longer cared about herself. Dull eyes, slumped shoulders, shuffling steps. I asked myself, what have I done to myself?" Research on enclothed cognition shows that clothing directly affects psychology and behavior. Patricia decided to change. "I started by changing out of my pajamas into a nice outfit every morning, even if I was just at home. Light makeup, neat hair, a spritz of perfume." She also sorted her wardrobe. "I threw out items that made me feel bad, and kept what made me feel confident." Patricia paid special attention to color. "On sad days, I wear bright colors, yellow, orange, pink, to lift my spirits. On happy days, I choose my favorite colors to celebrate good feelings." She also invested in accessories. "They don't need to be expensive, just items that make me feel special, a silk scarf, vintage earrings, or my mother's old watch." Patricia realized that dressing well not only affects how she feels about herself, but also how others treat her. "When I'm put together, others respect me more. Even my children and grandchildren compliment me, 'Mom/Grandma, you look so young.'" Patricia shared, "On sad days, I wear bright colors, a floral blouse, a red scarf, to remind myself that life still has beautiful things. And at the end of the day, when I take off my nice clothes, I also shed all my worries too." 12th secret, they end the day with gratitude. Helen, 76 years old, said, "Every night before bed, I write down 3 things I'm grateful for today. Sometimes it's simple: the cashier's smile, a call from my child, a delicious cup of tea. On difficult days, I just write, grateful for getting through today. This habit helps me sleep with a light heart. Helen shared her journey from sleepless nights filled with anxiety to peaceful sleep. Previously, lying in bed was when all my worries would flood in. I'd think about unpaid bills, my declining health, an uncertain future. Many nights I'd be awake until 2 or 3 a.m. She read about gratitude journaling and decided to try it. At first, I thought, what's there to be grateful for? Old age is all suffering. But when I forced myself to write, I started seeing the small things. Research from the University of California, Davis shows that practicing gratitude regularly can improve sleep quality by up to 25%. Helen said, the first day, I wrote, grateful for a warm bed, grateful I didn't have a toothache today, grateful my granddaughter called. It sounds simple, but when I wrote it down, I felt surprisingly light. Gradually, Helen started paying more attention to the positive moments in her day. I realized I had overlooked so many beautiful things: children's laughter in the park, the afternoon sun through the window, the smell of bread from the neighborhood bakery. Currently, Helen's gratitude practice has developed into a complete ritual. I reread what I wrote during the week, thank my body for working hard all day, and send good wishes to my loved ones. She also shares her gratitude list with her children and grandchildren. They're surprised to learn that grandma can find joy in small things. Once my grandson said, "Grandma, you're so optimistic." Helen laughed. You know what's amazing? When I focus on things to be grateful for before bed, the next morning I wake up easily finding new things to be grateful for. It's as if gratitude creates more gratitude. So there you have it, 12 secrets of the happiest women over 70. From forgiving to free the heart, to nurturing the soul, laughing with purpose, caring for the body, eating mindfully, connecting with nature and people, learning continuously, complaining less, and starting and ending the day consciously. These secrets are not magic formulas, but ways of living. Each small habit connects with the others, creating a full and meaningful life. Now I want to ask you, after hearing all 12 of these secrets, which one makes you think, I want to start this today? Share with me in the comments, and don't forget to tell your loved ones about these secrets. Because 70 isn't the end, it can be the beginning of the most beautiful chapter of your life. And those are the 12 secrets of the happiest women over 70. From forgiveness to free the heart, nurturing the soul, creating laughter, caring for the body, mindful eating, connecting with nature, connecting with people, continuous learning, complaining less, to sacred morning and evening rituals. These secrets prove one thing: 70 is not the end but can be the beginning of the most beautiful chapter of life. No magic needed, just small choices every day. Choose one secret to start today. Share with me in the comments which secret impressed you the most. And don't forget to share this video with your loved ones. You might be giving them the key to happiness. Thank you for spending time with me. See you in the next video.